When we think of animated movies from the year 2008, we think of movies like Kung Fu Panda, Wall-E, Bolt, and Madagascar 2. These movies are staples of many people's childhoods, mine included. But one movie that I noticed flies under the radar a lot is Space Chimps. Space Chimps is a 2008 computer animated comic science fiction film directed by DeMicco and written by DeMicco and Robert Moreland. It stars Andy Samberg, Cheryl Hines, Jeff Daniels, Patrick Warburton, Kristen Chenoweth, Zach Shada, and Carlos Elizraki. It follows three chimps who are sent to space to retrieve an unmanned space shuttle that lands on an alien planet, where they try to stop an evil villain who used the space shuttle to take over the planet. The film was produced by Starz Animation and Vanguard Animation and distributed by 20th Century Fox. It had a budget of $37 million and made a respectable $64 million at the box office. I saw this movie once in the movie theater when I was little, and I haven't seen it again since. When I chose this movie to review, I was expecting it to be terrible, but I was pleasantly surprised. It had a few jokes that made me laugh, and some good writing, and even some good story arcs. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't call this a good movie, but it's still better than I expected. So without further ado, let's dive into Space Chimps.
You guys into sweet jams?
The film opens with Ham III performing in the circus. Ham is the grandson of Ham III, the first chimpanzee in space. NASA selected him to be on a space mission to retrieve a missing space probe called Infinity. He is partnered with two other chimps, Luna and Titan, and Ham's friend Houston is paired up with Comet, who is like the tech whiz of the crew. Ham doesn't take the mission seriously, much to the crew's annoyance. Eventually, they crash on the alien planet Malgor, where the villain Zartog has taken over the Infinity and rules the planet with an iron fist. Ham and Luna get separated from Titan and meet an alien named Kilowatt. Eventually, Kilowatt sacrifices herself by getting eaten by a monster in a cave so Ham and Luna can escape. They then rescue Titan and plan to leave. However, they change their mind after discovering that their rocket wasn't being controlled by them the entire time and noticing Zartog torturing the inhabitants. They decide to stay to save Malgor from Zartog. Titan tricks Zartog into defeating himself, Kilowatt is revealed to be alive, and they make contact with Comet and Houston. With the help of the aliens, they build a new spaceship and get back to Earth.
You guys into sweet jams?
Let's begin with the film's cons. Ham, our protagonist, is not a likable character. He's arrogant, he's immature, and he's annoying. The villain, Zartog, is just a bad villain altogether. There's no depth to him, no intimidation, no character development, he's just some asshole. His voice is also annoying. Jeff Daniels voices him in his only voice acting role in an animated film, and boy does it show.
Can't you brats read? Keep away from my house!
This film has a lot of misused talent. This movie has a lot of people I'm familiar with. Andy Samberg, Patrick Warburton, Jane Lynch, and they don't get a chance to say anything funny or use their comedic potential. Jane Lynch voices one of the scientists, and she barely has any lines of dialogue. Anyone could have voiced that character. You could have pulled any random person off the street and it wouldn't have made no difference. Hell, the film composers are too good for it. They have Blue Man Group making the music. The other composer is Crispy Bacon, which is a hilarious name by the way, and he was the main composer for Bates Motel and contributed to a lot of other movies. The animation, while not awful, isn't anything special and looks more like a Nickelodeon cartoon. In fact, this film kind of feels like a Nickelodeon made-for-TV movie, not one to be released in theaters. It feels very rushed. We don't have time to get to know most of the characters, and the tone is inconsistent. We'll have a serious moment one second and a gag the next.
This whole thing was a sham. They wanted to see if our brains still worked after going through a wormhole.
We're spam in a can.
And we weren't even supposed to open the can. Sorry, Luna, but we're nothing more than guinea pigs.
Actually, the guinea pigs are on the Mars mission.
You guys into sweet jams?
As I said before, this movie had some things going for it. Some jokes genuinely made me laugh, and a few visual gags did get a chuckle out of me. The NASA team also gives a few moments of dry humor, which I am a sucker for. The writing also has arcs and shows signs of a good film. Ham's arc is that he wants to stop living in his grandpa's shadow, which was brought to my attention by James Earnwright's review. Link in the description, check it out, that guy's good. He is not respected by his peers, who see him as a joke. Eventually, throughout the film, he gains the respect of his fellow chimps and even helps Luna overcome her insecurities. Towards the film's end, he has a vision of his grandfather, who tells him that he does not have to be like him to succeed and can carve out his own legacy. He just has to believe in himself and stay true to who he is. He uses this advice to land the rocket ship and save his crew. There are plot elements that seem obscure at first, but eventually work out to resolve the plot. When Titan wakes up, Zartog holds him hostage and demands that he teach him how to use Infinity. In the end, Titan appeals to Zartog's ego and tricks him into freezing himself by making him believe that he'll conquer the universe with Infinity. There are also callbacks in the film, a sign of good writing.
You guys into sweet jams?
While Space Chimps certainly has the makings of a good film, it's still unoriginal and somewhat forgettable. I'd recommend all these other films from 2008 over Space Chimps any day, but if you're looking for something nostalgic or harmless to entertain your kids, Space Chimps would be a good choice. Besides, it's not exactly direct-to-video garbage like its sequel, so it won't be a drag. Until next time, my name is DomoReviews. Thanks for watching.